going to give a brief introduction to precision contracting. First of all, we appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to present our project. Precision contracting has been in business for 21 years, and we started mostly as a fiber optics contractor to do installation, splicing, testing, and electronics integration. And over the years, we saw that we knew more about the cable plants that we had built and that were in existence than the owners did. So we were seeking a way to document our systems and what the owners had out there as their cable plants, and we developed a relationship with Bentley in 2006. And it has grown and developed to the point of now we are doing design build projects. So with that, I'm going to turn the time over to Brian Conley, who was the network engineer for the project that we have submitted for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Like Cindy said, my name is Brian Conley. I'm the network designer on the FiberTrak team, which is a department of precision contracting services. Today I'm going to talk to you about our project, which is Martin County Community Broadband Network, which is located in Southeast Florida in the United States. The goal of this project was to design a metropolitan area network that would support existing and future needs of 280 public safety, government, healthcare, and educational agencies without the use of leased fiber. The existing lease provider proposed a 5-year deal that starts at $220,000 for the first year, more than doubles in the second year, and escalates to $1.2 million every year for the final 3 years. Martin County decided that the project completion date needed to be before this fiber contract renewal date. This created a 6-month time frame from notice to proceed to project completion. The Bentley Communications solution provided the ability to collaborate with various agencies and departments throughout the county by building an accurate model of the proposed county network that could be accessed by all members of the project team. The members of the project team included Martin County IT, Martin County Traffic Department, Martin County School District, City of Stuart, Town of Jupiter Island, South Martin Regional Utilities, Town of Sewells Point, Martin Memorial Health Systems, Indian Town Telephone Incorporated, Precision Contracting Services, and Captech Engineering. Our biggest obstacle in this project was time. The county was under pressure to get the project designed, built, and deployed in what seemed like an unrealistic time frame before their fiber lease renewal date. From the start, the county had limited information for bidders on how they expected this project to unfold and only spelled out what the end result needed to be. The network design capabilities of PCS FiberTrak and Bentley Communication Tools made it possible to secure this project. Competing contractors were not able to deliver network designs in the time allotted and to the level of detail that PCS achieved with the Bentley Communication Tools. From the start, this robust design tool made all the difference in the award of this design build project to PCS. Permitting was our second obstacle. The use of Bentley tools during this bidding process allowed for an easy transition into the design phase of this project, as most of the fiber routing had been already laid out in Bentley fiber module. Bentley map interoperability with existing GIS and other CAD formats from utility owners and county entities helped identify conflicts and adjust proposed routing and placement of underground infrastructure to avoid permitting delays. We've received all of our permits on time, and we were constructing within 1 month after we were awarded the contract. Integration. Part of the design challenge was to meet the needs of 9 different entities. This required us to design different network architectures and allow for future expansion. Some of the agencies had a point-to-point network topology due to their existing equipment limitations, but requested that we allocate fibers for future upgrade to a diverse ring. Others wanted to have a diverse ring network from the start, as they were able to add new equipment. The design. We used Bentley Communications and met with all of the parties involved to visually analyze their individual networks while maintaining the overall network integrity. With Bentley Fiber, we assigned optical circuit names which rippled throughout the network model and then ran trace reports which provided immediate visual feedback to ensure that the proposed fiber splicing was meeting the design. The Bentley Fiber trace report also provided the client with immediate information such as fiber distance and number of splices on a particular circuit. This ensured their equipment could support and provide the necessary bandwidth needed. The FiberTrak lifecycle model. PCS has drawn on all of its years of experience to develop our FiberTrak lifecycle approach with Bentley Communications and Oracle Spatial at the core. We work with our clients from design through construction, documentation, maintenance, and the eventual expansion of the network. Networks are constantly changing and evolving, so this approach is important to maintain the integrity of the network over time. This project was a perfect example of PCS's FiberTrak lifecycle approach, as we already added 2 miles to the network from funds budgeted but not used in the initial contract since our completion in early June. Interoperability. Bentley Communications V8i platform, along with PCS FiberTrak methodologies, drives custom data sets that blend with our client's workflow to give them the most detailed, efficient use of the information model. This allows for a diverse range of deliverable formats that satisfies the requirements of various entities. Here are some examples of some of the deliverables to the client and other documentation that we used on this project. This is an example of a trace report that we used, and we had our clients right in our room at our facility, so as we were doing the splicing right in front of them, then we could print the trace report, and this way they could see the distance that their fiber was going to travel on that circuit and how many splices, so they can ensure that their equipment was going to be able to complete this circuit. And we also gave this to our technicians when we were out for splicing, and this way when they tested the system, they knew how many events they should have by how many splices, and also the distance it should go. So this way, if there was a problem, they could look on this list and they would know by the distance where to go look and make sure that they identify the problem and correct it. Next, this is a plan set that we put together for permitting. I'll go right to the route of it. And on this, not only did we show where the conduit had to go, but we showed whether it needed to be directional bored, whether it needed to be trenched, where new pole boxes were going to be placed, where to tie into existing pole boxes. So it was a very detailed permit set, which really increased the amount of time, really decreased the amount of time that it took for our permitting. We had very little notes back that we had to resubmit. This is an example of an as-built on that same route I just showed you that when we applied for the permit. And now this is what we gave to the county when the project was complete as their as-built. Again, you can see the route is the same. We also put on here what our it's a grade out level, but we showed what the proposed was as opposed to what actually the as-built showed. So this way they could see any slight changes that we made during the construction phase. It also shows the size conduit and the size fiber that we put in that conduit. We also put tags with unique numbers on them on each of the pull boxes, so that when our GPS technician from the FiberTrak department went out there and GPSed all these, they could tie those. And also, they were put on prior to that so that the field crews, when they were installing, they could put that number on our daily so we could tie everything together at the end. Because it was very important for the county to know where everything was. So now they have the exact coordinates of all their pull boxes. Okay. Let me try to get that one back first. All right. This here is an example of a splice diagram that we provided to the county after the work was completed. What we did is we took the retain order report straight out of comms, and then we created this drawing in MicroStation. It's much easier for the client to read, and so that they can see. And as you can see on here, we placed the jumpers because in this particular location it's a building, and 5 cables come into this building, and they're all terminated there. So a lot of cross-connecting was going on, and also in the future, the county plans to do a lot of cross-connecting through this facility. It is their old operations center. So we tagged all of the jumpers so they know exactly where things are going and what's running on what fibers. This is another example of a splice diagram that we also created in MicroStation from the retain order. And on this, it shows the underground splice outside of a facility. So on here, a technician or anybody from the county would know exactly what's going on outside of their for that particular site. And this is the actual trace report that comes straight out of comms. And while this is great for people like me who work with this every day, we can read these, but people from the county, they're having trouble with these. So that's why we started drawing those in MicroStation to clean them up a little bit and show the detail that they want to see. Now we come to return on investment. First thing is savings. The county estimate for this project was $8 million. PCS's design build proposal was $5.4 million. So by using PCS, the county already saved 25%. Full control. The county now has full control of their network, which allows them to know the costs of running their network and not having to constantly adjust their budget due to price increases of leased fiber. Resiliency. This new fiber design is all underground, whereas the leased fiber was aerial. So in South Florida, that is a big problem with hurricanes. So they were very vulnerable to these storms. So by being underground, their network is now at a level of protection that it was not before. New revenue potential. This is also a big thing for the counties with the limitation on funds available now. So now the county is looking into the possibility of leasing fiber to generate revenue. This could lessen the burden on taxpayers and for them to maintain and expand the network due to these difficult times. It's PCS's opinion that completing this project under budget and ahead of schedule would not have been possible without the use of Bentley communication tools. And it would not have gone, as the headline says, easy as pie. That's all I have.
Right, thank you very much. Just going to see if we have questions from the jurors first. Can you come up and ask them up here so we can get to catch them on camera? We're going to be a bit more formal with these sessions, I'm afraid.
The first question I have is the previous vendor, was that going to be a below grade construction as well, or were they going to charge those outrageous prices above ground?
You're talking about the vendor that...
The Comcast.
Comcast, it was all aerial. And
wow.
They were going to charge for the final 3 years of the contract. I believe it was $1.2 million. It was $1.2 million a year, and that was only for a 5-year contract. After that, I'm sure it was going to go up even more.
Okay. The other question is about expansion in the city or the county. How are they going to handle like expansion of that system?
Well, already they've already expanded, and the biggest way, we have basically built a robust system that they're not going to have to expand out. They have the entire county covered now. The trunk goes past all of the facilities. They didn't pick up every single facility on this, so the expansion would be tying into that now.
Adding.
Right, just adding, and also by not just expanding, but they want to upgrade. They're doing a point-to-point system right now. Mm-hmm. They eventually want to go to a ring topology, but the county doesn't have the money for the equipment to do that. So they can only talk to their facility in one direction right now. But we did design it, so it is a diverse point-to-point. They would have to actually physically move the jumpers, but for the equipment. But if there was a failure on one side on their primary route, they can physically go over, send somebody over, change the jumpers, and they can talk a different way to a different building. So they will not lose connectivity to any of their facilities.
Great, thank you.
Paul, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
I need to ask you to come up.
Right. I hasten to add, this isn't my area at all. But I was intrigued, like Ken, about the costs of the previous supplier. So a general question, I mean, is this marketplace for fibre cables what we would call just a complete jungle in terms of supply?
Yeah, well, I think one of the problems is that the bigger companies, they felt that they've owned the market. So they could charge whatever they wanted to. And I think that was their thinking here, is that what is the county going to do? We're the only game in town. They never thought the county would say, well, you know what, maybe we'll do it ourselves. And I think that's what's starting to happen in a lot of counties. A lot of counties are starting to, saying, instead of leasing dark fiber from another company, of building their own network. And then they control it, and then it's also a revenue source for them. So instead of costing more money now, they actually make money on it.
I just have one question. Were you only documenting the outside plant, or was there anything on the inside plant that you were documenting as well?
We did on this project. No, we didn't document the inside because they were reusing their own equipment. So they were actually hooking up their equipment on the inside. We spliced and terminated basically to the termination point, and then on the equipment side, they were doing that. They have their own IT people that do that. So for this particular project, they decided to do it on their own. But other projects, we do inside plant as well. It's just on this one, it wasn't necessary.
Okay, questions. Are there questions from the floor?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Going back to your 1.2 million charge from Comcast.
Yes.
Presumably, as a leasing arrangement, that would include the operations and maintenance charges. By comparison, what are the O&M costs with the do-it-yourself approach?
Well, the only thing that I would say that with this system, it's not as vulnerable like Comcast is because it's not aerial. So if there is any cuts or anything like that, the county has insurance to cover that. And also the person who cut that fiber, if they know who it is, they're responsible to pay for that. So Comcast wasn't laying out that money either. Somebody else was for those cuts. So really the only vulnerability that Comcast had was the vulnerability that they provided themselves, which was by having an aerial and not putting it underground.
Maybe just another way to ask the same question. Did the county have to increase staff, IT staff,
No.
or others in order to operate their own network versus?
They did not. They used their own IT people because they were leasing dark fiber, so they were already lighting it themselves. So there was no increase in staff. And actually, to add a little bit to it, is that not only did they increase staff, but in this, all these counties are having to lay off people. Well, one of the things that is vulnerable are their locate people that locate underground, that locate their facilities. Well, I think our whole county now has two. So because they merged the traffic and the IT. And the school board does not have one at all. But what this enables them to do now that they have limited resources is that with the Google KMZ, it wouldn't come up, but we export that out and we give that to them. They give it to their locator, so they have it on their laptops. Well, if a ticket comes in, they can look at it while they're still at the office and say, I don't need to go out there. They're looking on the north side and our stuff's on the south side. I don't have to go. I can clear this ticket right from here. And they know where it is because we give them GPS points, so they know exactly where their fiber is.
I'm Marijn van der Drift from the Netherlands. We do a lot of fiber-to-the-home projects here in the Netherlands, and we all do underground construction. And we know that most of the cost during the rollout is in excavation or digging the
Yes.
But also design, engineering, and documentation of the as-built is very important. Can you zoom in a little bit on the savings that were realized by using Bentley Fiber as a tool for design, engineering, and documentation of the as-built?
Okay, yeah. I don't have an exact dollar amount, but I can tell you that without using Bentley, we would have never completed this in 6 months, and we would have never been able to show. We went to when we bid this project, we had to go before a board, which is made up of different people from the county. And we were the only ones that had a design. Everybody else had a Google map. And with some lines drawn on. We actually had intelligent lines that we could click on and show them. So we did a lot of work on the front end, and we would have never been able to do that without Bentley Communications, because that really increased our the amount of work we could do in a short period of time. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a question on, again, a bit more technical. The examples you've shown with the splice plans and the ODF sheets or the ODF representations, were they all generated from using the Bentley software? Or because you said you created some drawings in MicroStation, but are these generated by the Bentley system, or could you explain that a bit more?
Sure. The drawings are generated by running retain order reports in Bentley Communications. What we did is we took that information and we put we drew it in MicroStation because it's more client friendly. As you can see on the retain order report, there's a lot of stuff in there. So we were able to compress buffers by redrawing it in MicroStation so that it's easier for the client to understand. So that's the main. But it was done in MicroStation. But then also we can import the terminating fiber text from Bentley Communications into MicroStation drawings. So you don't lose that functionality. And we do it all in a master drawing, so you make the change one place and it changes everywhere else. So you're not having to go and change in different pieces all over the place.
I got a second question. With respect of what service is running through which fiber, the connection to capacity or transmission,
right?
Is that foreseen in this or not, or is it feasible to link up or to hook up this Bentley system with an OSS system, or have you any experience in this case in
hooking up with another system? Is that what you're asking?
More.
We can, through the interoperability, you can import in other types. But we don't use any other anything else. I mean, we use PDFs and we import in Esri formats, shape files, but we don't use anything besides Bentley.
It's more on the transmission that's running through the fiber. So fiber management is more the passive network, but I'm talking more about the active network. That, for example, you click on a fiber or something, and you get a capacity report or the transmission that's running through this.
And that is done in Bentley Comms. You can place equipment. You can do engineering calculations on that. You can. We didn't do it in this particular project because we weren't doing the inside plant, but that's something the county might have us come back and do or as they add equipment, is to help them find equipment that will run their network. But in Bentley Comms, yes, there is an inside plant that would do all of that, and you can control IP addresses. I mean, anything you want. I mean, you can put. I mean, it goes so far in the inside plant that you can put in the specs for equipment, and it'll tell you what you need to cool that cabinet in order so that your equipment does not overheat. So it is a robust system, Bentley Comms.
Okay, thank you.
Right, and any last question? Plenty of questions there. Any last questions for presenter here? Okay.
A couple of years ago, 8 years ago or so, we in the city of Tilburg we realized the same thing. Fiber by the community. And the prices of the market, it influenced very much the prices of the market. But we did not use Bentley, by the way.
Right.
So we just cut prices because we did it ourselves.
Right.
That was enough to earn much money. But now we cannot make a new business case on fiber to the home, or so it's very difficult to make a good business case because we think there is no business case, there is no demand because of the crisis and so on. Do you think we can reduce the cost of exploitation much more by using better means?
I mean, I think so because you're by using Bentley Communications, you can make sure that the equipment that you're using is correct for that application, and you can design it in that. But also, as more and more companies like us are called upon by government agencies to do this type of work, they're changing the market because they're showing the bigger guys that that now they have to come down to their level. They can't keep charging these great prices because they're just not going to pay them anymore. The counties don't have the money for it. So.
Let's hope.
Okay, any final questions for Precision Contracting? No, in that case, please show your appreciation for excellent presentation.